But obviously the Superblast did come alive. It is the GOAT shoe, and all the other brands now are trying to sort of create something, their own super trainer, pretty much to see if you can get close to this shoe, because this is the unicorn shoe. This shoe comparison I got for you guys today. So we've got the GOAT super trainer, the ASICS Superblast, up against the brand new up and comer, the ON Cloudmonster HYPER. So we're going to go through their performance features, talk about what's the same and what's different, and hopefully from that, that'll give you guys a great indication of choosing the right shoe for you. But before we get into it, massive shout out to my #1 running store, the Running Company at Geelong. I've got a link to their website in the description, so make sure you go check out that and check out all their running gear. And again, if you do want to support this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. So checking out our quick specs here, both these shoes come in at the same price point here in Australia, slightly different there in the US. Now what's jumping out here is certainly the weight. Fair bit of difference here in the weight. Can you feel that on the foot? Well, yes you can. It's certainly the more balanced shoe, this Superblast, and it feels a little bottom heavy in the HYPER, but yeah, it definitely feels lighter on the foot with this Superblast. Now there's a fair difference in those stack heights as well. Now I put both these shoes on at the same time and I've had a little jog in them, and you can't really feel that much of a difference, and also you can't really feel much of a difference in the drop as well. In our uppers, so in the Superblast they use the jacquard woven upper, so it's a pretty light material. It's not drilled with breathing holes as what you see in a lot of shoes, so the breathability in this shoe probably could be better, but it's not a hot shoe by any means. Padding wise, there's a moderate amount of padding here around the heel collar, so just enough, definitely not plush by any means. The heel counter is very solid in this shoe, so quite solid. We've got a little heel tab there. Now the tongue is pretty thin. We've got a couple of pads on the tongue as well, just to take that laces pressure off. Pretty standard lacing system, so straight up and down the shoe, but it is very effective. The tongue is gusseted, so it doesn't move around. Quite nice there. Now the fit here in the Superblast, so the fit is long for me, so I come down half a size in the Superblast, and that fits me just right. The toe box is probably on the medium side. Overall build quality with ASICS is always excellent, and this is a very comfortable shoe. And in the HYPER, so the material that they use here is a microfiber mesh, so it actually feels like satin. Again, there's no real breathing holes or anything in it, so the breathability in this shoe could be better. But padding wise, it's about on par with the Superblast, and it's probably pretty much in the same area as well, just around the heel collar there. The tongue, again, there's a couple of pads on top of the tongue just to take the laces pressure off, so very similar to what you're going to find in the Superblast. This design up here is very similar here. Now the lacing system in this shoe is slightly different, but it's like the other On Cloudmonster. They don't have actually eyelets, they just have these lace loops that it weaves through. Now the lace, this shoe, they've got some cool innovation going on with the laces in here. They've got some silicone that's weaved in and out of the laces, and that's just to help these laces from coming undone. Now the tongue in this shoe is also gusseted, so very nice, doesn't go anywhere. Now the fit, now this shoe again is a big fit, so I've come half a size down and it fits me perfectly. And with that half size down, I would classify that the toe box is about medium width. But this is an extremely comfortable shoe, and also the build quality is absolutely excellent. And in our outsoles here, so with the Superblast, so all that purple stuff there is the actual rubber on this shoe, so that's where they do their rubber coverage. It's their AHA rubber, so high abrasion. It can get a little greasy in the wet conditions, no problems in the dry. Durability in this rubber is absolutely excellent. What's surrounding their rubber coverage there is exposed foam, so that's that light green stuff, and also you can actually see that super foam in those little cracks in the bottom of the outsole as well. They're FF Turbo, and this one is also, this outsole is prone to getting little rocks and seeds caught in the bottom there. And outsole in the HYPER, so all the white stuff that you can see there on the bottom is all the rubber coverage, so all on the forefoot, down the lateral side, high wear areas at the back. Now, I'm not having any dramas with the outsole here. It's a bit of a hard rubber compound, so it might sound a little loud on the road when you're running this shoe. But it's overall, there's no issues with it. The grip's good. It's wearing down as I would expect. But what it's also surprisingly good at is also on those really light trails. So I really love the feedback on this outsole of when you're running. So yeah, really nice on those dirt roads as well. Right, and then our midsole. So in the Superblast, so they are using dual density foam, so 2 different types of foam. They've got a super foam at the top, their FF Turbo. So this is the older version. They've got a new version of this now that's absolutely excellent, but this version is still really, really nice. So that takes up the majority of the midsole of this shoe, and then you can just see that bottom layer, and that is their FF Blast. So it's not the FF Blast Eco, it's just the FF Blast, and that's what they used, I believe, on the Nova Blast 3. But huge stack, as you see in this quick specs there. I think it's like 45.5 and 37.5. So huge, big stack of super foam here. Geometry wise, it's got a bit of a 4-foot rocker, as you can see there, but it definitely doesn't feel aggressively rocket at all. There's no slappiness or whatever in the ride. And also with the Superblast, there's no carbon plate or nylon plate in this shoe. However, this shoe is still quite rigid, so it's probably just as rigid as a shoe with a nylon plate. And with our Hyper, so again, we've got a dual density thing going on here as well. So they've got, ON have got their super foam in this one, their Helion HF, and that's mainly just from the midfoot to the forefoot, and that's that white stuff, as you can see there. So that's the foam that they use in their top tier racing shoes. And then under that, they have got their normal Helion foam and their Cloud Tech. So that their Cloud Tech is just the holes that they put in the shoe. That provides cushion to the shoe. So they've got that under the super foam, which I think is actually muting the effect in this shoe. And they've also got just the normal Cloud Tech, or what you're going to find in the Monster in the back. Geometry wise, again, we've got a bit of a 4-foot rocker here, but to me it just feels pretty much traditional. I don't feel like it's overly aggressive or overly tipping me forward at all, but I'm again not getting any slappiness out of the ride. And just like the Superblast, there is no plate in this shoe. There's no nylon plate. They used to have a speed board in the Monster. They've taken it out of this version. But again, this is a super stiff shoe. So it actually feels like it should have, or it could have a plate in it, but they say it doesn't. But yeah, very stiff shoe. And in our ride, so with the Superblast. So for me, the first word that comes to mind with this shoe is stable. It's a very safe shoe. It's a responsive shoe. Now, for me, this shoe is not soft or squishy or cloud-like, but I know a lot of people feel that sensation in this shoe. For me, this shoe is more on the firm, responsive side, and it's energetic, and it's poppy, and it's springy, but it's not pillowy soft to me. It's more, yeah, it's more of a quick snapback, and that's what I get with this FF Turbo. Yeah, for me, I don't class this shoe as soft. Yes, it's very cushioned and it's very protected from the road, but do I class it as soft? No, I don't. But again, responsive, energetic, poppy, springy, very stable, very safe shoe. Very easy to run in, so it's a very consistent ride. This shoe does not break down, and that's why it is just such an amazing shoe, and it's actually lasting the test of time. Now with our Hyper, so I think they're trying to copy here what ASICS has got going on. So their ride is, first word is coming to mind here is, I'm going to say solid and gutsy. Yeah, it's a strange ride. That's all I can say. So this, you can certainly feel this super foam in the forefoot and in the midfoot, so you can actually feel yourself pushing, so squishing into it, and you can feel a little bit of pop coming out of it. So, but I still don't class it as responsive. I don't class it as snappy. I still don't class it as soft and squishy. Yeah, it's a really strange sensation, but I'll tell you what it is. It's a very consistent ride, and it is, yeah, I am going to call it energetic. So there's a good amount of energy return, but it feels like it's a muffled energy return. It feels like the energy return's there. It's going to give you some, but it's not giving you everything that it could get. So it's, yeah, it's just a very strange ride, but I quite like it. So this ride is growing on me. It does feel quite boxy, and it is certainly narrower than the Superblast, but I think it's just the shape or how they've cut out the sidewalls of this shoe, because these days you're used to seeing a shoe that's got some flare coming out the side, but this On just comes straight down, so it gives you the feeling that it's a straight, like a boxy shoe. And you can certainly, I think, feel that on a bitumen road or on a hard surface. It sort of feels like there's no like curvature at the bottom. It doesn't feel as smooth as it could be through the foot strike. But where this shoe actually shines for me and where it feels excellent is on a dirt road. So on a light trail, this thing comes alive. So I think the dirt, it just eats up those little rocks, and I think those little rocks just do enough just to pop this super foam back up, because this thing, it actually feels like a bit of a trail devil. So I really love this on a dirt road. Definitely feels much better on a dirt road than what it does on a hard surface. Right, best use for me, so pretty much the same thing for these two shoes. So this is the long run king, so it feels great in the long run, great for your steady efforts, tempo running. You can do your easy days in this shoe. The only thing I don't do in the Superblast is pretty much race in it, because I want an aggressive rocker, I want a lighter shoe, and I want a carbon plate. So I want some wow factor, which I don't think the Superblast gives me. For our Hyper, so again, it's going to shine on your long run. So this energy return with this midsole is really going to benefit you on those long runs and your steady efforts as well. I think it's probably a bit heavy for your tempo stuff for me, so it doesn't feel fast enough for that, but definitely steady long runs, steady pace long runs, it's going to shine. I'm not sure about easy days as well. It's probably not its best use, but you still could do that, and I definitely wouldn't race in this shoe. Right, so just wrapping it up here. So with these two shoes, what I needed to do with both shoes was actually break these shoes in. So they took time to feel good for me. Straight out of the box, they both felt quite firm, and I didn't really enjoy the rides. But obviously the Superblast did come alive. It is the GOAT shoe, and all the other brands now are trying to sort of create something, their own super trainer, pretty much to see if you can get close to this shoe, because this is the unicorn shoe. This is the shoe that can pretty much do anything. So light, yeah, you can pretty much handle anything that you throw at it. So yeah, the other brands are trying it. Has the On Cloudmonster come close, or is it going to challenge the Superblast? Well, I still think it's missing the mark here. So it is still a good shoe, like, don't get me wrong, but I think what's hurt it, I think the cloud tech that they've tried to incorporate with the shoe. I know it's a part of the On shoe and about their design, but I think it's just killed the super foam. So this super foam at the front, so they could probably have the cloud techs at the back, but for me, I don't think they need it at the front. So when you've got these holes, so there's gaps between the super foam and the next part of the midsole, so it feels to me that that's just absorbing any part of energy return or any pop that you're going to get back out of this shoe. Even though it's still there, you still feel some pop and energy return, but I can imagine if that this cloud tech wasn't there, it'd be so much better. It'd feel so much more responsive if they just had just one thin layer of this Helion foam at the bottom, just like they do in the Superblast. I'm pretty sure this shoe would feel much better. So not sure if On's listening, if they're going to take that on board, but that's just my feelings anyway. But anyway, yeah, it's still a good showing here from the On Cloudmonster. But if I had to spend my $320, I'm going to buy myself another pair of the Superblast. So anyway, guys, that's it from me. Interested to hear your thoughts about my comparisons between these two shoes. If you've got any questions regarding these two shoes, just drop them in the comments below. Love to read those. But anyway, guys, that's it from me. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.